This is the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. Good evening, all. I'm Shashina Roll. As always, it is so great to have you with us. Topping news, the business community here on Grand Bahama anticipating a new era of growth and development. This renewed optimism coming following the appointment of a special committee to examine certain aspects of the decades-old Hawksbill Creek Agreement. The new body is selected to help forge the way ahead for Freeport and licensees of the Grand Bahamas Port Authority. Our Joan Davis Roll has our top story.
A cross-sector of the business community on hand at the Grand Lucan Resort for the recent announcement made by the Prime Minister regarding the historic appointment of a committee to examine certain provisions of the Hawksbill Creek Agreement with respect to exemption on business license fees and real property tax, which are due to expire in August of this year. Many commending the government for demonstrating the political will and visionary fortitude to take Grand Bahama to the next level. Among the select committee is Baltran Bethel.
The committee will be having wide consultations, not only with the stakeholders, but also with the community, and come forward with a non-partisan, objective approach to a dynamic plan which will lift Grand Bahama to new levels of development and prosperity.
For decades, these individuals have witnessed the boom and bust of the nation's second city, asking when will Grand Bahama emerge from the ashes of economic depression. Now, businessmen like Terrence Gabe, Louis Mizik, and Larry Aubrey say they believe this latest move by the government, which transcends the political divide, signals a new era in Grand Bahama's history.
I think it means a hell of a lot for Freeport and its future, because really, as the PM has said, the economy here is stagnant, and it's been stagnant for 12 years, and there's no reason for it. The real reason is the private sector, the private enterprise, Grand Bahamas Port Authority, and the ownership families have just not done their job.
We look forward to some of the monopolies to be transferred back to the people so that we can move forward in this time of depression, and we need to have some resurrection in our lives.
We need to buy into this vision. Freeport needs a vision, and once we stand united and together, we can go forward.
These business leaders say the spirit of unity being promoted by the government not only augurs well for Grand Bahama, but the entire country. When it comes to Grand Bahamas Port Authority, the chairman of this new committee has already gone on record by stating that within the next 8 weeks, they plan to report to the government. Reporting for ZNS Network News, I'm Joan Davis Roll.
Well, the VAT department here on Grand Bahama hosting a series of seminars to get business persons more knowledgeable about the system of taxation. Italia Hall gives us an update on day one of the seminar held at the C.A. Smith Complex.
The informative sessions on value-added tax will take business owners from the registration stage to the first stage of filing of returns. The first quarter ends on the 31st of March, and registrants will need to file and return taxes by April 28th. The objective is to get registrants familiar with the VAT return forms that must be turned into the VAT department and to clarify what information is required to complete the form. Over 25 persons were in attendance on day one, and the focus was geared towards registrants below the $1 million per annum threshold.
By now, I feel we have extended a lot of effort with regard to getting that information out. I recognize, though, that there are persons who have not had the opportunity, who haven't availed themselves of the opportunity to gain the requisite knowledge. What I'd certainly suggest to those persons is that they do take advantage of these coming programs to fully familiarize themselves with the requirements. Because failing that, if they're hoping to do their returns by themselves, they're going to find it, particularly daunting, and may have to then seek the professional help in order to get it done.
Those in attendance say it was an educational experience for them and encourages others to attend.
I think the program is very beneficial because it tells you exactly how to fill out the form, the input and the output form, and it allows you to ask questions if you're not sure what you're doing. And he simplifies it in terms of debit and credit and how to prepare. He also talks about how you can do your work on a spreadsheet, which is very simple.
come in and take the seminars and get knowledgeable on the VAT, because especially when you're dealing with customers, is very important that you have the correct information to give your customers, especially when you're dealing with invoicing, to make sure that everything is done properly so there won't be any confusion, especially with your business.
VAT consultant Keith Worrell says persons are free to attend as many times as they wish or until they have a better understanding of the issue.
We will have the seminar again tomorrow, all right, like I alluded to earlier. That will be conducted by Mr. Hepburn. I'll be here next Tuesday and Mr. Hepburn next Wednesday, and we will also be here the following week, Tuesday and Wednesday. So, like I said, I think it's an ample opportunity for those persons who have not been able to attend to get here and avail themselves of the information. Those who have been here before and feel that they need to come back just to get things clarified, they're quite welcome to.
Italia Hall, ZNS Network News.
A leading executive of the Grand Bahamas Port Authority says the time has come for a review of some components of the country's immigration policy. He believes changes are needed to build the Grand Bahama economy. President of the Grand Bahamas Port Authority, Ian Roll, in an interview with ZNS News, talks about why a change in the current immigration policy can boost the Grand Bahama economy. Roll says critical mass must be created on this island for businesses to thrive. Here's why he says a revised immigration policy can be the solution.
What we're talking about is to create permanent residency where persons would move their families and business ideas here to Freeport. And we think that we can cause that to happen if the government assists us.
The president of the Port Authority says the government can assist by tweaking the immigration policy. Currently, the immigration policy does not allow persons who have invested $500,000 or more in a home or business the automatic right to work in that business. According to an immigration official, the investor will have to apply for permanent residency and the right to work, but the application does not cover the investor's family. Roll believes this must change.
Once the status is given to a particular individual, it could be the man or the woman in the relationship or in the family, everybody should then automatically get the same status to allow them to work and move freely to and fro in the country to work in their own business.
Roll says the fact that there is no defined period for foreign transactions to be approved presents another challenge.
If I buy a $500,000 home now or $1 million home, there's no certainty that I would get that in 30 days or 60 days. We need a more defined process. And that's what investors, that's what they enjoy. They want certainty. Persons want certainty.
He says he has spoken to investors who would also love to see a change in the policy.
Investing offshore is a risk, okay? And especially when there's no certainty in terms of timelines when you would get approvals to do X, Y, and Z.
As the Grand Bahamas Port Authority continues to seek ways to boost the economy of Freeport, Roll says a revised policy can also create a boom.
You might want to ask yourself, okay, Ian, where are these people coming from? Well, these persons will come from high tax zones. They would come from countries that have political turmoil. They would also come from areas where persons are being victimized because of their religion.
He believes such a policy will not just prove beneficial to the island, but the entire Bahamas. But with change can come opposition.
A lot of persons in the population might be scared to embrace this type of change. However, you have to also make the people aware that these people are not coming here to vote. They're not coming here to control your country. What they're coming here to do is cause economic activity to happen and create opportunities for you.
The president of the Grand Bahamas Port Authority says he has had informal discussions with some ministers of the government on the port's concerns. He says this issue should be addressed immediately and given serious consideration.
There might be some concerns that, I'm not aware of. The government might have certain concerns that it needs to work out. So it probably needs to be fleshed out at this particular stage, but I think a number of persons would give this suggestion a lot of merit.
Well, in news from the crime beat, the Royal Bahamas Defense Force patrol craft P-129 apprehending 9 persons off West End on board an 18-foot vessel this morning. Reports say the Defense Force was alerted by OPBAT officials to a vessel in distress, and the 9 occupants, including 1 Bahamian, Jamaican, 6 Dominicans, and 1 Lithuanian, were found on board. The foreign nationals were handed over to police and immigration authorities in West End, and the Bahamian national is expected to be charged with human smuggling. Also from the police are searching for a male who reportedly robbed a female while at her residence in the Beachway Drive area. Reports are that shortly after 11 last night, a female was held up and robbed at her residence in the Beachway Drive area. The culprit made off with cash and personal items. The assailant, a male, is described as 5 foot 10 inches tall, slim built, wearing dark colored clothing, and he spoke with a Haitian accent. Police are investigating and are appealing to anyone or the general public for any information to contact them at telephone numbers 350-3107 or 8-911-919 or contact your nearest police station. Stay with us. The Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, continues right after this.
Bringing news that matters to you. You're watching the Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
Welcome back. ZNS continuing its commitment to educate and inform the community on the benefits of a more health-conscious lifestyle. This and every Wednesday during the month of March, you can get free blood pressure, glucose, and cholesterol screenings, body mass, and weigh-ins. The screenings will be conducted by nurses from the Grand Bahamas Health Services from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. in the canteen of the Harold de Gregory Complex. And in other health news, a nonprofit organization based in the United States is leading the way in finding a cure for cancer. Sabrina Brown tells us how Bahamians can get involved.
Cancer Mission 2020 proposes to put an end to cancer by the end of the decade. The campaign was initiated by the founder of Camp Good Days and Special Times, a nonprofit organization in New York that caters to children with cancer.
With so many passings of our campers and our staff over these years to this scourge, a few years ago, our leader, Gary Mervis, said, "Enough is enough." The most powerful country in the world, it is unacceptable to have cancer still today with the incidence of suffering and passings. So brilliantly, Mr. Mervis has formed a coalition called Cancer Mission 2020.
Regional Director for Camp Good Days, Joe Kohler, says some big names in the medical field have joined the crusade as they take their mission to the White House in Washington.
What he has done for the first time in the world, he has brought together the tripartite that must come together. The oncologists from the U.S. leading cancer research institutes, Roswell Park Memorial Hospital in Buffalo, where I've worked, the Memorial Sloan Kettering Hospital in New York City, the Cleveland Clinic, the Mayo Clinic. So he's got the leading cancer hospitals, the researchers, the oncologists. Then he has brought in the drug companies.
Kohler, who is also a cancer survivor, says Bahamians can also be a part of this historic move by signing the Cancer Mission 2020 online at www.cancermission2020.com.
We're not asking money to help us find this cure by 2020. All we want you to do is go to the site, click on, yes, I would like to put my name on a petition that is going to the White House, to President Barack Obama. Our leader, founder, Mr. Gary Mervis, has had a personal relationship with now 5 U.S. presidents. And your country, through Lions Freeport International, could be the first country outside of the U.S. to help with this petition.
Coordinator for Camp Good Days on Grand Bahama and cancer survivor Terry Goldsmith is encouraging Bahamians to support this global initiative.
Simply right here on Grand Bahama, one school, one primary school, 6 children with sickle cell, 6 children in one school. There's another school, got 7 in the school with some form of cancer. And so Could this have effect on Grand Bahama? You're right, it will. Right, because it's going worldwide.
Thanks, Sabrina. Stay with us. Ricardo Lightborn has a check on sports when we return.
Everybody, it's time for Sports with Ricardo Lightborn. Let's get right to it. The Grand Bahamas High School Track and Field Championships actually started yesterday at the GB Sports Complex. And we tell you that they had the field events, and we got a record in the girls under 15 high jump. Igmar Rock and Lika Pinder also had 1.50. She raced the mark 1.45. Igmar Rock leads junior division, heading today's competition with 42.5 points. Jack Hayward Jr. right there, 32.5, and Sister Mary Patricia Russell, 21.5. Tabernacle with 12.5 in the senior division. Tabby is out front with 78 points. St. George's is second, and Jackie with third. Igmar Rock and Bishop Michael Eldon right there with St. Paul's in the driver's seat. We'll have some new results for you tomorrow, but so far, so good as far as track and field. Now, the Bahamas Golf Federation Chances Tournament was held on the weekend at the Grand Lucayan Reef Golf Course. This was a two best ball event. That's Ambrose Guthrow on the tee in the Chances Best Ball Tournament and splits the fairway. There were some sandbaggers on the links. Delano Mortimer could be one. Okay, Max Quant played and only to get out the house on Saturday. David Johnson all the way from Nassau to play in the Chances. Now, David simply wanted to be a pretty good golfer, and he's playing by heart. BJ President Craig Flowers found a fairway on this shot, 1 of 18. Watch Raymond Buccaneer Culmer. Golf is a gentleman's sport, just like his Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Can't beat nobody. Bobby Rose and Vernon Wells won the second gross with a 70. The third net, that was a team of Kirk Bowe and Rick Pinder. Second net, that went on a comeback to Wolfgang Gagger and Ray Simpson. Rich Drivers and Vic Skinner with a net 60 took first place and a donation to the Humane Society.
This is the first year we've received donation from this tournament. We're very pleased to get this money, and we have a lot of very good uses for it. And anybody who wants to come out and volunteer, or anybody who wants to make a contribution, they're all appreciated.
The tournament was coordinated by the Bahamas Golf Federation. Next is the National Amateur during the Easter break. And Ambrose, I feel your pain. And up next is the Science Golf Tournament, folks. That's going to be played this coming Sunday. It'll be at the Fortune Hills Golf Course. That's going to be a fun event for you. Well, the Grand Bahama Principals and Vice Principals Association and the parent body of the Grand Bahama Secondary School Athletic Association unanimously decided to withdraw the schools from participation in the 2015 Hugh Campbell Basketball Tournament in New Providence last month. Well, they met with the press and set the record straight. For more on that, let's go to Kimberly Mullings.
The decision was not an easy one, but it was time for Grand Bahama to take a stand. During the ZNS Total Sports February 17th broadcast, it was suggested by the tournament's organizers that Tabernacle Christian Academy principal Morris Spain was the deciding factor behind Grand Bahama schools not participating in Hugh Campbell. Grand Bahama Principals and Vice Principals Association President Jacqueline Pinder wanted the public to know that both associations are not pleased with this allegation.
The withdrawal of our teams from Grand Bahama from the Hugh Campbell basketball tournament was not a personal decision made by Mr. Bain. It was a united decision by coaches with the support of this association.
Pinder, with the support of both associations, wrote to the tournament organizers prior to its start, making them aware of the decision to withdraw and have yet to receive a response. At this point, the associations have requested that a public apology be made to Principal Bain.
One of our priorities in Grand Bahama is to treat one another with the utmost respect and always in a professional manner. More importantly, we aim to set a positive examples for our student athletes whom we represent.
Mrs. Pinder made a few suggestions on behalf of both associations on the way forward. Pools should come out in a timely fashion. There should be a clear seating procedure, proper rotation of officials, full payment of traveling coaches' rooms. Participating traveling teams should not have to pay to enter the gymnasium for games.
If you value us, then treat us with dignity and respect.
The schools in Grand Bahama are looking forward to participating in the Hugh Campbell tournament in 2016. Kimberly Mullings, ZNS Total Sports.
Principals and Vice Principals Association also congratulates the CC Sweeting Cobras for winning the championship and hope to be in the tournament next year. Now, the president of the GBSSAA Kenton Rolls said, no love lost here. Life will continue. The Grand Bahamas Schools, though, will be going to Bimini to the Gateway Tournament during the Easter holiday.
It's up to us now I would hope for them to reach out to us, but if that doesn't happen, we'll reach out to them again. And like I said, we can sit down and have a sensible discussion, not a heated discussion, a sensible discussion to see, the way forward. Without the talk of boycott. We all intend to travel to the Bimini tournament in a couple weeks. I think that's over Easter break. So we intend to travel. Even though we didn't travel in Nassau, we intend to travel. And most of the teams, even though they didn't travel to Hugh Campbell, most of the teams already traveled to the United States.
Well, let me tell you, the Grand Bahamas Shipyard fishing tournament is this coming Saturday. The ZNSF, the Lifestyle Fun Run and Walk, is the 21st. Now, I've tried my best to get Shashina to walk. She did me last year, she ain't got no tennis shoes. This year, she did me, she get her toes done. Now, it's all about her hair. Anyhow, that's sports.